Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is so dead. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it break a bad feeling to all wicked men. Not a people there. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear now hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside a rob and cheat, and not first and for make up what I seen to. Big man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Big man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite man, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day them can sell out Rasta and sell it out and sell out Babylon. They give man show one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead and can sell out Rasta and sell out, I sell out Babylon. Yes, stop on the Friday. You might show us stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black thing, man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one. Big man show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black big man show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rasta man show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
Good evening, globalists all. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Let me do some housekeeping before I do anything. Can you see and hear things properly? And on your device, do you notice any changes? Because hear what? StreamYard has launched what is called this Mars Studio, which it creates you two different screens. On my end, it create me two different screens. I guess probably that's for the back end. But you out there watching on computer or telephone, it should give you two different viewing. What it also does when I create the link, rather than creating a single link for each channel, which is normally 3 link, it creates 6 link. It double up things. So I hope things are not distorted for you on that end as it is for me on the back end in the studio, because I'm working on 2 screen, one that looks like a mobile phone setting and the other looks like a PC setting. So mine was a little wonky, but I just left it and went back and it's good now. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome. We were going to discuss OddPem this evening. We'll kind of push OddPem on the back burner because there's a bit of geopolitical oopsie daisy that came up today, which pricks me. And I want to speak to you about it this evening. What I also want to do is to jog your memory if you remember things I've told you 2 years ago. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, real subscribers, commenters, and trolls. Good evening. Welcome. Geopolitics is rife in Jamaica. I told you rather, keep your eye on the stage. Jamaica is where the big political theater is at the moment. You ought to keep your eye on the stage, otherwise you'll miss the script. Marco Rubio, Undersecretary, was in Jamaica today. In diplomacy, when you see the foreign secretary, the undersecretary to the foreign secretary, visits a country, they're given orders. They are given orders. Before we get into geopolitics, let me just say to Auntie Donna, I heard you this evening inviting me to your program to debate with your labor rights people. Respectfully, I decline, and I'll tell you why. It's not that I cannot debate with them. There are two set of people who I wish not to debate with, are labor rights and Jews, or Zionists, rather. For the reason that they have an inability to listen, one, Violet Watson, thank you very much. For the reason that they have an inability to listen, and two, their complete disconnect from reality is why I chose not to waste my time debate with those two sets of people. So respectfully, I decline coming to your TikTok panel to have any debate with those people. Now on to geopolitics. Carl Crowd, like and share the live, please, because this is very important. And I'm going to jog your all memory tonight. Long time I try to groove on into the geopolitics, but we're not going to have to hurry up and catch up with it, because geopolitics is moving at a level at the moment where you all need to catch up with it. Sharon Bernard was on the live, came on the live last night just as we finished. I haven't seen Ladybug because down at St. Elizabeth there. Correct. Now come back for now. And Holness say, him alone with generator. But we have to have JP and police and pastor to approve we. 2 years ago, shortly after I launched, I told you this. The Americans gave Andrew Holness 2 years to roll back China's investment, or they will be taking over Jamaica. Does anyone remember me telling you all that? Let me know in the chat, please. Does any of you remember me telling you that the Americans, if Andrew Holness does not continue to push ahead with his China investment and his push to the cockpit country, the Americans will take control of Jamaica within 2 years? Debbie Jervis says she remembers. Does anyone else remember? Does anyone else remember? While you're trying to remember, I'll read something for you from the environmental modification. Lawrence Michaels says she remembers. Environmental Modification Convention, formerly the Convention on Prohibition of Military or any other hostile use of environmental modification techniques. This is an international treaty prohibiting the military or other hostile use of environmental modification techniques having widespread, long-lasting, or severe effect. It's open for signature on the 18th of May 1977 in Geneva and entered into force on the 5th of October 1978. The convention bans weather warfare. I repeat, the convention bans weather warfare, which is used for weather modification techniques for the purpose of including damage or destruction. The Convention on Biological Diversity of 2010 also bans some form of weather modification or geoengineering. Many states do not regard this as a complete ban on the use of herbicide in warfare, which is an Agent Orange, but it does require case-by-case consideration. The convention was signed by 48 states. 16 of the signatories have not ratified. Meaning that if they have not ratified it, you cannot, in international law, cannot enforce obligations against them. As of 2002, the convention has 78 state parties. So, just to read you that so you understand weather warfare, right? And I told you 2 years ago that through contacts I've had, the Americans planned, if Andrew Holness doesn't roll back his China investment, they will be taking over control of Jamaica. Naturally, when I heard that, given how the Americans behave, I thought it would have been something down the line of civil unrest or something around the sort of that. We also became aware as well of the science Florida University told us they have in creating extreme category 5 hurricane. Now, when Donald Trump came to power, Donald Trump got straight into a hissy fit with China and wherever China had its investments. No sooner had they came into power, Marco Rubio came to Jamaica and laid down their rules. Cuban nurses, China investment, and you can see the tirade of Donald Trump when it comes to wherever China investment in. You saw how it was with the Panama Canal and all of that. You also see the trade war and the tariff war deployed when it comes to the whole China's interests. When in diplomacy, Jamaica is not such an influential player as in Western geopolitics, other than being a puppet player, not a real player, more of a puppet player for the United States Foreign Secretary to visit Jamaica, and months after for his undersecretary to visit Jamaica. I don't know if you're watching the assembling of U.S. interests in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, given the U.S. plan to take back control of Jamaica because of China investment. This was a plan before Donald Trump was re-elected. This is not just Donald Trump alone. This was a plan before Donald Trump was elected. So whichever American president, they would have carried out the order because China is too strong in this part of the world. Let us listen to Jeremy Levin and Andrew Holness, the Undersecretary for Marco Rubio.
Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, or other cabinet ministers who are here, permanent secretaries who are here, and of course our special guest today, Jeremy Lewin, the U.S. Undersecretary for Foreign Assistance, Humanitarian Affairs, and Religious Freedom. And I want to acknowledge Laura Ortiz-Rodriguez, who is also here, and she's the Director of Media Affairs in the U.S. State Department. And of course, Scott Renner, the chargé here at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston, and other members of the U.S. government team here.
And when Lewin starts speaking, I want you to pay close attention to the wording.
This is going to be very short. We are in the middle of cabinet, but this is a very important area that we want to discuss. The United States has always been a friend of Jamaica, and so we're very honored to have you here. And so we're going to start things off with a statement from Jeremy Lewin, the U.S. Undersecretary for Foreign Assistance, Humanitarian Affairs, and Religious Freedom.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here. The Secretary Rubio on one of his first international trips came to Jamaica and said, correctly that Jamaica is one of the United States' oldest and closest allies. And that means we will be here in the good times and also in the bad times. So we are very fortunate that we were able to mobilize a tremendous amount of U.S. government resources to help respond in the early days of this crisis. We formed a disaster response team even before the hurricane made landfall. They were able to get here, within a day, as soon as the airports and air infrastructure allowed them to come. We brought search and rescue teams from LA and Fairfax County, 70 personnel that we brought in here. They had dogs and chainsaws, and they're experts at sort of moving roads, finding people, rescuing them from difficult situations, and then almost immediately started bringing humanitarian assistance in from our hubs, activating our network of partners, NGOs, from Samaritan's Purse to the UN World Food Program. And in addition, the United States Department of War has significant assets in the region, which we are able to bring under our control. So we were able to bring in heavy lift helicopters, nearly 100 military personnel. They've moved more than 500,000, and that was this morning, and now they're doing a few more flights, so it's going to be way more, 500,000 pounds of life-saving aid, and so their work continues, and our work continues. So with that in mind, I'm announcing an additional $10 million in critical life-saving assistance to the people of Jamaica. That brings our total to $22 million US to date. That the financial commitments are only one side of it. That doesn't include all the military personnel, all the search and rescue, but the financial commitments are very significant and help underscore just how important Jamaica is to the United States and to the Secretary. Jamaican people, like our people, are proud and resilient, and we have every faith that they will rebound quickly and will build back even better. With that in mind, we will be here. We will be here tomorrow. We will be here next month. We'll be here for every stage of this recovery. We look forward to continuing. I think Jamaica, this is our backyard. I think
that's the bit that jump out at me. We will be here in the good time, in the bad time. Jamaica essentially is our backyard. That's the message. That is a message, diplomatically speaking. That, for me, is a message sent to the powers that they are up against. Jamaica is our backyard. Do you now understand the strong American presence? It's almost like they are leading the thing. Now, do you understand when I've been saying to you all this time, Jamaica is locked into a geopolitical warfare between the Chinese and the Americans? And our blood is going to spill for it. Because when these people are playing out their game, they play it out on other people's soil. I wasn't looking for this type of destabilization of the country. I was more looking for something like civil unrest and all of that. That was more of what I was looking for the US to institute, to come in and take control. But given how this is all panning out, the US is using it quite much to their advantage. But as I keep saying to the people of Jamaica, keep your eye on the stage. That's where the movie or the theater is being played out. Keep an eye on the strong American presence in the country, the American military. Twice now, we have visit from the foreign department. This is not usual. What do you think him come down for do? Because we have hurricane, him come down to pat us on our shoulder and rub us and say, oh, poor thing. Oh, no. When America sends its foreign secretary anywhere, it's about America's interests. It's about America's interest and dominance in your country. That's what it is about. And that's why we are warning you about be careful when it comes to the land grab to come. Because there's oil, and you know when there's word of oil anywhere, America will move in whatever way it can. America will create opportunity if it doesn't exist to make it possible for them. So me don't want uno to just get the. I'm not being insensitive or unsympathetic or unempathetic, or if I saw it go. All of us feel the destruction. All of us have family caught up in it, particularly those in the worst hit zone. What we must not do, though, what we must not do is to come off message. It's let them get to our emotion so we can come off message and get distracted so they can do their work faster. My job is to keep you aware, to keep you awake and listening and watching. Because we told you 2 years ago, America said them are going to take over back from Andrew if Andrew no shift up, if Andrew no roll back on the China investment. And I said, bam, since the hurricane, America run the show. I wonder though, Andrew Holness, if that's the reason why ADPEM is in such a disarray, because things is not run through ADPEM. No, this was the purpose tonight to talk about ADPEM. And we're talking about the disorganization and the disconnection when it comes to the whole relief effort. Me not think I'm not interested. No, I'm not interested to hear what Andrew said at a meeting with him Jeremy. Let me know if you're not interested. Cat was just still spewing shit, like literally. No more than spewing shit. There's a total disconnect in the whole sorry. There's a total disconnect in the whole logistic. See there? Andrew, they know I hear you. What a disgrace. What a disgrace, PM. 1 PM. What a disgrace. The whole crowd turn them back on you. Andrew Holness, a crowd turn them back on you and tick them finger in them ears. What a disgrace, Prime Minister. Now, the disjointed, disconnected logistics shows the disorganization of the whole disaster relief effort. Now, they have reinstated the toll fees, rather. You would have thought administratively they would have prepared waiver for the aid truck bringing aid to western side or the southwestern or northwestern side of Jamaica. But aid truck were caught up in a whatever it is to the standoff or whatever, because nobody now communicate. Nobody now. You don't know who is doing what. This is what it has come to. And that's why I'm going to read. I wanted to read 2 Gleaner article. I don't know if I can get through the 2 to do with the whole disarray of the ADPEM and how Melissa exposed the government and its lack of preparedness and its inability to get things done in such a critical time. But look at what happened today, because Darrell Vaz opened the toll for catch money, but then don't remember, say, the country have aid going through and fro. Lord Jesus, may I tell you, Uncle Marshall always sort of blind can lead blind, you know. Blind can't lead blind. And this is exactly what is happening to us now. Blind can't lead blind. That's why I'd pep the pan road I walk up and down. So 1 minute in tap off a Desmond, next minute in tap off a Anjo, next minute I this and sit down and chat people business with. Next minute Anjo said no, go over there so go chat. And you think we're gonna have a smooth sailing or even adequate enough of recovery when the agency under Holness to lead us through this thing is in complete disarray, chop changing, switching, finding new staff and finding new residents? Like seriously, sir? Una absence. This is because of a government who have lost operational and administrative control. Andrew Holness alone cannot be the headman Jankro of the disaster relief and recovery. It's not about taking credit, Andrew Holness. It's not about arming up the country to get it right for you alone. This is why the people are suffering. This is why the country is not moving. This is why you can't even get the chance to count dead body count or prepare concerts. But I want to go to the Gleaner article. Let me see if I read the first one first because I think it's relevant going that route. Bear with me. But it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace how this thing is being handled by the government with lack of care, with no leadership. No leadership whatsoever in the whole galangin we are going. And that's why it's not working. Because 1 minute, why at this point? If after burial, the Prime Minister should have spot any failure in an ADPEM, you mean to tell me, say, just because to say no, all the wicked babs is she. You want to tell me, say, is because Melissa Breeze, Changa than everybody else make ADPEM now work? All right, make them find out say ADPEM not working. ADPEM never working a Melissa, in a burial rather. ADPEM Prime Minister. Hold on, I look for one Gleaner editorial. I soon find it. ADPEM never work in a burial. See it here. And it was her now. It was her now because the disaster what we see would have confused anybody. So we know so no confuse, but we never pay enough to confuse. Let me see if I quickly read through this article. Bear with me, yeah? Because we need to keep up with the Joneses, them. Editorial. Melissa exposed Jamaican state. Melissa, the horrendously intense Category 5 hurricane that smashed through Western Jamaica nearly a fortnight ago, did not simply tear up the infrastructure and take lives, although plenty of that happened. Indeed, so far 32 people are known to have been killed by the storm, and the preliminary assessment of the physical damage is at least 6 billion US dollars. The overall cost economy will be substantially higher. But the hurricane did something else too. It exposed the country's soft underbelly, our deep incapacity to plan, to act, and to deliver at the scale that modern resilience demands. Andrew Holness, that's a grave criticism. Put another way, Hurricane Melissa shone a light on the diminution of the Jamaica state in critical areas, and therefore its capacity to respond with efficiency and urgency in time of crisis. So a natural event of epic proportion is being made an even greater disaster because of prior man-made failure. Following the experiment with democratic socialism in the 70s, the Jamaican state was heavily criticized, often rightly, for waste and bureaucracy. Demands for reform were loud, they were heeded. But in dismantling many of the institutions of the state during the era, the structural adjustment policymakers and their advisors might have gone too far. In many areas, the market was asked to do what only the state can: provide public goods, protect the vulnerable, and plan and implement for future. The planning body were sidelined, ministry lost their engineers and planners, local authority became little more than administrative posts. Over the years, as a consequences of the hollowing out, Jamaica's capacity to think, coordinate, and implement the very machinery of nation building quietly eroded. And that's because of successive government, all of them involved here. At the local level, the picture is stark. The municipal authorities, which ideally should have been the first responder in the current crisis, are skeletal. Many have no dedicated engineer, no emergency vehicle, and no budgetary flexibility. Indeed, some parishes have a single building officer trying to regulate thousands of infrastructure, which open the door to shortcuts and behaviors that are at odds with good governance. Drain cleaning, critical before any hurricane season, remains we can't call the word perennially. I don't know what I talk. Underfunded, perennially underfunded. The clogged gullies of Montego Bay, Spanish Town, and Portmore in a major storm are potential death traps. In several parishes, disaster committee exists only on paper. Most, even without a disaster of the scale of Melissa could even clear back roads without the input from the central government. This is not the fault of local officials who often underpaid and overwork, struggle with what little they have. It is the inevitable consequences of a system designed for central control rather than local empowerment. An introvert pyramid that is wide at the top and narrow and weak at the base. So what they're saying here is that central government take most of the power from local government, and local government is but a paper. To be clear, this newspaper does not advocate for a state that controls the commanding heights or effort to displace the market and or private enterprise. But hurricane do not negotiate with market. They have to be met by well-organized and capable governance infrastructure. A competent state is a guarantor of this collective good. Investors correctly will only rebuild bridges connecting poor communities if it is profitable. If they spend their shareholders' money on social causes, they often expect tax write-off. Indeed, no market will coordinate the return of displaced student to school, and no private contractor can substitute for government that lacks system of foresight. Andrew Holness, the Gleaner say you lack foresight, coordination, and accountability. Boy, Andrew the Gleaner, rub your cloth, the Gleaner, rub you. In that regard, Melissa is a reminder that development is not a spectator sport, Andrew Holness. It demands a capable, mission-driven state, one that partners with market and communities, but does not abdicate responsibility to them. Faced with a situation that even with the greatest capacity would be difficult to traverse, Jamaica's institutional weakness will make the recovery of Melissa slow and painful. Obviously, funding will be tight, but procurement bottlenecks will delay projects and the coordination will flatter. But acknowledgement of this reality should not move into disappear. Rather, the challenges left by Melissa should be grasped as an opportunity, a launch pad for a new era of national capability, a reconstruction of systems, institution, and civic will. National planning culture. That means re-establishing a national planning culture with a permanent scenario, system analysis capability. It also suggests affording local authority the room and the confidence to exercise the fullest extent the autonomy they are allowed in law. But they need the tool, technical staff, drainage budget, and emergency funds. Resilience begins in the community where disaster strikes first. Further, the country has to deepen the professionalization of the public service. The new civil servant must be trained in project management, data analytics, and digital systems. There must be a focus on delivery as a metric of performance. This systematic and systemic approach to the operation of the state must be buttressed by institutionalized transparency, which build trust. Even great turning point, every great turning point in Jamaica, rather, in Jamaica's history, has emerged from crisis. This one shouldn't be waste. In that regard, the post-Hurricane Melissa recovery should be as much about building a state that plans for long-term value competence and invest in people as it rebuilding the Jamaicans' physical and social infrastructure. If Jamaica accepts and meets this challenge, the next hurricane should not find the country disorganized or pleading for aid by executing a plan already rehearsed, guided by foresight and planning. And the Holness, that was a Robin. That was a Robin PM. Do we have the time to flutter through the other article? And this article is in relation to the squibble squabble going on at ADPEM. Don't know how far I'll rock my way through it. Hold on, I'm going to comment and look on us. 1 second there. 1 second. Wicked Babsy. Where keep dance before your prayer. You are wicked. Evil woman. Yes, ADPEM in risky times. We want to. What happened to my? What happened to my screen share? Oh, God of mercy. Globalist, I don't know what happened here. It looks like me knock out my screen share and I never know. So when me there read and I never saw me read. Hold on. Let me see my comment. I come in and I comment for a while. I read that article earlier and all I could do is shake my head because yeah. Oh, it was on screen. I want to go on with me. Hold on. Oh. You don't even know what I'm going with me around the back here tonight. Thingy confused me. Right. Let's read this other article because this one is very important as well. This is the bangarang going on over at PEM. This is the Gleaner editorial. Oh, why is this one telling me not available? Don't do that. Oh, yeah. Gleaner's editorial. I don't know why the Gleaner rub yourself in a PM. PM. I don't know how much dead fowl you eat for the gleaner, but the gleaner, rightly so though, is coming out strong for you. Because somebody have to call out your nonsense in the Prime Minister. Let me just check my phone there. Somebody needs to call out your dunceness. Somebody needs to call out the incompetency. And somebody needs to call out the downright cruelty. Call out the downright cruelty where carry out, yeah. So, you all on the Prime Minister. Right. Let us go to this article. Then, if there's any other to look at, we will look at it. Bear with me. Right. ADPEM in risky times. Unless the recommended restructuring of the government disaster management system was only a change of its top leader last week's shakeup at the Disaster Preparedness Emergency Management, ODPEM, in the midst of the disaster, in the midst of the agency respond to a major natural catastrophe, seem on its face a very risky move. Richard Thompson, the ODPEM long-standing executive director, was removed and given a seemingly innocuous job in the Office of Plenty Ministry, while the agency itself was taken from local government ministry to become one of the municipalities of ministries, agencies, and departments in the portfolio of the Prime Minister. ODPEM new leader include the installed Director General Commander Alvin Gale, who I wonder if Alvin Gale and the Prime Minister touch up one another. Because once you and the Prime Minister touch up, you will normally get a promotion, and never mind that. Get on with the reading. As well as whoever the PM designate as the day-to-day contact with the agency will inevitably have a claimed to learn the curve, while at the same time gasping with the oversight of a complex relief mitigation operation. That is notwithstanding Commander Gale reported fine skill in logistics management, which were said to have been employed on behalf of the Jamaica Defense Force. These issues could be further stressed by, if true, declining moral and confidence among ADPEM staff over a perception of being thrown under the bus by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, which, they like to use the DR title, which is the essence of a complaint by the Jamaica Civil Service Association. The ADPEM staff may have wrongly interpreted the Prime Minister's remarks. However, Andrew Holness with the DR title ought to be aware perception is often as good as reality. In the circumstances, he and Commander Gale must act with urgency to assert the concern of heads of festering of resentments, which could weaken and undermine in large sway the disaster relief program of Western Jamaica in large sways, where over 30,000 people are initially displaced, or internally rather displaced. The development at ODPM, at ODPEM rather, though highlight more than what is immediately apparent. They epitomize both management failure, the weakened state of many Jamaicans' institutions, and the undermining of their governance structure, which is symptomatic of the retreat of the Jamaica state over the past 3 decades. In wrestling ODPEM from the control of Desmond McKenzie, the local government minister, and placing Mr. Thomas in some nook at the Office of Plenty Ministry, the Prime Minister was apparently displaying his dissatisfaction with the agency's initial response to the disaster, the Melissa's disaster. Officially, however, the move was to ensure a single point of emergency logistics and further tighten coordination with relief partners and accelerate the distribution of relief supplies. In plain language, those who now run ODPEM cannot manage not a disaster of this magnitude. The question is how and why it has been allowed to come to this. The deterioration of ODPEM was mission creep in plain sight. And why the Gleaner throw you up against wall, so sir? You're back now paid the amount of time Mr. Gleaner bounce you off a wall since night. Continue reading, because Gleaner have a field there with your Prime Minister. Concerns about the agency and the wider disaster planning, preparation, mitigation, and relief apparatus deepened after outer band of burial clipped such of Jamaica's south coast last year, causing significant damage, especially in the west of the island. This official response to that disaster was deemed to be too slow and halting. In the aftermath of burial, Prime Minister established a committee reviewing the island disaster risk management system. I wonder what came of that, Andrew Holness. Andrew Holness, I wonder what came of that. Jesus peace. The specific term of reference of that committee were not published. So then the fuck all. You just launder money through them. That's all. Launder money so you pay them to do something, but we don't know what you pay them to do. Money laundering. Just like a lot of what is happening now. A lot of money laundering is going on right now. Unfortunately, neither unfortunately was it reported. However, in a speech in June of this year, Dr. Holness characterized its finding as sobering. What from that sobering finding, though, Prime Minister, have you implemented in the preparedness? Because if you did implement anything sober out of this, ADPEM wouldn't broke down a road, you know. ADPEM wouldn't broke down a road in the middle of the road. One of the committee foremost recommendation was the urgent need to restructure and modernize the Office of the Disaster Preparedness and Emergency. Oh, so you were told to do that, and then you wait until right in the middle of the disaster you do it? Oh, so clever, PM. PM Holness, you're so clever. Who can clever like you? Among the weakness in the disaster preparedness system, Holness said about the finding of the review committee were incorporation, data sharing, and rapid execution. This is exceedingly unfortunate. It was the result, in part, of the systematic erosion, if not dismantling, of the professional and technical leadership of ADPEM and the ascendancy of political executives. For over 3 decades, starting with its predecessor, the Office of Disaster Preparedness, now ODPM, emerged as a model of disaster preparedness and relief organization with technical, competent, and empowered leadership. Frank McDonald, the ODP founding executive director, set the tone. Outstanding successors like Barbara Carby and Ronald Jackson, who also led the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, followed this trend, in part because they were allowed to. Over the past decade, however, an erosion, Andrew, 10-year, Andrew, over the past 10-year, Andrew Holness, let me call it 10 years so people know say since you. Over the past decade, however, an erosion set in where the professional and technical leadership was clearly secondary, even in technical matters, to the political bosses like Andrew Holness. And I'll ask you this question here, Andrew, because we see you do it in a burial. And we see you do it when Melissa done. Who are you? With what technical eye you use to survey the damage, Prime Minister? Because me don't know if I just feel eye and picture you use to survey and estimate the damage. Anyway, continue. Why the gleaner rob you? There was, for instance, the spectacle of the 2016 press briefing ahead of Hurricane Matthews, which was hugged by Mackenzie, with ODPM leadership being allowed little say, even on the technical aspects of the storm and the agency proposed response to it. In a public response, Dr. Carby, who then taught at the University of West Indies, said, "There is nowhere in the world where a few hours before a disaster is expected to make impact, you do not have the head of disaster agency addressing the public." Well, it happened in Jamaica and not and not as an isolated incident. In October 2023, Jamaica was hit by a magnitude 5.3 earthquake. Within minutes, Prime Minister Holness and his cabinet colleague were making public comment on the development. It took 5 hours for ODPEM to issue a public statement, which was defended by Richard Thompson as following protocol. Hopefully, these systematic failures are being corrected. It is still not too late to publish the review the review committee report. Those are the 2 articles I wanted to read for you tonight. So Andrew Holness, even the gleaners say, you have broken down the agency. You have taken on a strongmanship of the agency. You have armed it up, Prime Minister. And because of your head cook and bottle washerism, your political leadership of bureaucratic and technical areas have damaged this organization. This organization, we should lead in the disaster preparedness, recovery, and rebuilding. Stop working with Pan Road, Andrew Holness. So no, you're not doing a good job. You're doing a horrible job. As a matter of fact, Prime Minister, you have failed in how you've responded to the disaster. Dismal failure. Disconnected. Your operational and your logistic ability has been hampered by your selfishness and your greed for control and power, Prime Minister. Look at the country. Look at the country and bring every hands on deck. Under your arm full now. Let go the country and make everybody come in and cooperate. Take advice from the public sector. Take advice from the private sector. Take advice from the opposition, Prime Minister. Listen to the people of Jamaica. And I want to advise you how to restructure North Street in Black River, Prime Minister. If you wish to take such advice, you can contact me. The advice is free. But I want to tell you how to structure the coastline of Black River in the rebuilding of the town. Yeah. Because what you ought to do. But Prime Minister, you know me not anybody I talk about the new city where you talk about and then something there. You know, I know consultation with St. Elizabeth residents. We not give up with land. Make we put that clear. We not give up with land. But you notice you know consultation with we. You want just hear voices and just get up and talk the same thing them. And we just do another and a wink to it. You notice up until now, you know, on a consultation with St. Elizabeth people about your new city. None at all. You don't have consultation with St. Elizabeth people over your South Coast tourism. None at all. Prime Minister, the same thing you take and mash up ADPEM is the same thing you are using to control this disaster that is, 1, creating a humanitarian disaster, and 2, a pending health crisis as well. Too little have been done, Prime Minister. You have not done enough. The greed for money and greed for power, the grab for authority and grab for cash, Prime Minister, is not all that you ought to be doing at the moment. What we're not seeing from Andrew Holness is leadership from the front. And my God, have mercy. There are some dunce where Andrew Holness have a send out here upon we. Desmond McKenzie, Darrell Vaz. How the effort fear go on good. And people like Darrell Vaz and Desmond McKenzie so high up under the umbrella rain now with them. You don't notice? Hmm? Desmond McKenzie can't string two words good together. Darrell Vaz done Saddam and Vaz. Hmm? The China Palestine minister. And them people here, you know. And them people here that ahead of the queue. But if they say Beryl, Melissa about 30 times rougher than Beryl, and it did take so long to get back electricity, in a sense, Elizabeth, the question is, will we ever get back electricity at all? But Andrew Holness, I know Belgium one send generator to, you know. So we not talk about it, Belgium, I know Belgium alone send generator. Spain send generator too. Guyana send generator too. And oil send generator. India send generator too. Prime Minister, a OPA generator, and not just the Belgium generator alone. Prime Minister, the people are walking and count up the things and the money them, you know. But the matches where you walk and strike. The matches where you walk and strike, Prime Minister, make sure gas not at your foot when you drop the matches stick. Just make sure, Andrew Holness, gas not at your foot when you drop the matches stick. But my people, me want to keep on an eye open. Come here and tell us America say them are going to take back control of Jamaica in 2 years. If Andrew Holness no roll back Chinese investment. The time is here upon us, my people. I have long been warned that Jamaica is locked into a geopolitical warfare with China and America. The time is here upon us. Keep your eye on the stage. If you take your eye off of the stage, you're going to miss a part of the play. We're going to confuse you. We have to cater to everything at once. We cannot let the emotion from our destruction pitch us off message, and then our people get sleepwalk further into the geopolitical mess that we're waddled into at the moment, mainly because our government have prostituted us. Our leader has prostituted himself and our country. And now we lock up in everybody body hole and a be darkness surround we. Anyway, if you can't see from far, I must say my eye shut down. But maybe sooner morning. Thanks to everyone, and thanks to Violet Watson for the super chat. I appreciate you all. Lovely to have your support. We're looking for other Gleaner article there we need to. Nurses complain of hellish condition at Cornwall Regional in the aftermath of Melissa. But I may tell you, the outbreak, may I pray God, come because we don't have place. We literally do not have place to deal with more than what we are dealing with right now. Literally. Don't have place to deal with more what we are dealing with right now. But anyway, my peeps, very soon I'm mad and my eye tired. Staring in the phone all day makes my eye tired. Hold on there. Anyway, thank you very much for being here tonight. Join us back tomorrow morning when we'll continue to look at the failure of government and the diminishing of our state by Andrew Holness. Thank you and good night.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it break a bad feeling to all wicked men. That's a people there. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear not hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside and rob and cheat, and not first the poor. Make up what I sing to. Make a man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite part, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see, they can sell out Rasta and sell it out. I sell out Babylon. They give man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see, they can sell out Rasta. I sell out, I sell out Babylon. Just stop on the Friday. If I throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black thing. If I throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one. Big man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black big man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rasta man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action.
So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.